Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Is your mic on?
Thanks. Every time. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the August 20th Committee for Persons with Disabilities monthly meeting. Because we still do have a meeting for people, we're going to do a quick intro and just go down the line and start with Jeanette.
I'm Jeanette Shelton. I have been on the committee now for 5 years.
Wow.
And I represent District 8 Terrabassi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Houston, will be committee for months. And I represent District 4. I need to support each and every one.
Hello, everyone. Laura Hansel here, and continuing my first meeting as vice chair. Very excited. And I was appointed by Chair Tara Boston-Reiner, representing District 8.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Carolyn Smith. I am appointed by Joel Anderson, and I am your chair.
So that was Joel Anderson.
Two.
Thank you. And member at large, secretary. Good afternoon, Michelle Krug.
Yes.
And congratulations, Laura. I love when people are excited like that, of taking on something. And I represent Supervisor Monica from staff and district staff. Okay.
And until Jessica gets settled, we'll go online. We'll actually take, okay, that far away. So Rebecca.
Hi, I am just here to listen in. I was just wanting to observe.
Thank you for being here.
Nick is going to be speaking a little bit later, so we'll let him introduce himself later.
Vivian.
Hi, Livian Cole, San Diego Sheriff's Office. Just listening in until my EOS. I can probably stay for about 45 minutes or so.
Thank you for being here and having me for today. I apologize.
Brennan.
Hello. Hi.
Yes, go ahead, Brennan.
Sorry, was I just supposed to introduce myself? Sorry. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. My name's Brennan Pearson. I'm a local San Diegan, third generation. I applied to join one of the seats. I don't know if, I guess maybe appointed. I'm not sure exactly, I guess, what step I am. I guess it's going to a vote soon. Looking forward to joining the committee. I'm an advocate at heart, and I enjoy kind of advocating for vulnerable populations in the community. So yeah, really looking forward to giving back, getting involved. I'm partnered with a few associations already, and so looking to maybe try and be a mouthpiece for them and to be able to move things up higher. Yeah, thanks.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last person I see is John.
Sorry.
Oh, is that who that was?
No, that was Brennan. Lived Experience Advisors.
That's done, great. Yeah, sorry, I really can't see that. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll move forward. So meeting is Call to order. We are going to move to, oh, sorry, Jessica.
Just introduce yourself.
Jessica Kramer, and I am appointed by Jim Desmond, District 5.
Thanks. All right, agenda item number 2, statement of just cause and or consideration of a request to participate remotely, emergency circumstances, if applicable. Do we have any?
There are none.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3. We need to vote on July meeting minutes. Did everybody get a copy of July 16th, meeting minutes? No. Any questions, comments, concerns? If there are none, if I can just,
I'm going to approve the July meeting.
A second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstains? All right, ayes have it. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 4. This is our non-agenda public comment section where members of the public may address a county issue not elsewhere on this agenda. Each speaker may take up to 2 minutes. Speakers may be limited to less time if several speakers have requested to speak on the same issue. The Committee for Persons with Disabilities is prohibited by the Brown Act from acting on or voting on any issue that is not already on the agenda unless deemed urgent. Do we have any non-agenda public comments?
Yes, actually, Madam Chair, Nick Zubel, I think it's Zubel, is it? Nick is, help me with the pronunciation.
Yeah, Zubel.
Zubel, okay. With the Office of Emergency Services, Nick had been requesting to speak, just to present a short, really briefly, a call to action for the committee. So Nick, go ahead and I'll pull up, you can introduce yourself and I'll pull up your slides there for a couple of minutes, if you will.
Okay, and do you want me to share my screen?
No, I'll be able to do that.
Okay, great. So thank you, everyone. My name is Nick Zubel. I'm with the County of San Diego Office of Emergency Services. And I have my colleague online here, Mila Barker, with our office. And we wanted to discuss an upcoming project. We're updating the county's emergency operations plan. I'm going to turn it over to Mila real quick to kind of to set the stage about overall strategic engagement.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Nick, and thank you all for having us. My name is Mila Barker. I'm Emergency Services Coordinator with the County of San Diego Office of Emergency Services. I lead strategic engagement for our office. County OES is in the process of developing a community outreach and engagement program that focuses on 5 key sectors to implement FEMA's whole community approach to emergency planning. The whole community approach to emergency planning simply means taking inventory of the community networks, resources, and capacity to prepare and respond to emergencies, to develop culturally competent and appropriate plans, processes, and procedures that addresses the community needs. Whole community engagement is a strategic engagement initiative that drives how we identify stakeholders like CBOs, NGOs, tribal partners, and folks like yourself in the county across the region. We implement this approach across all planning efforts, including the Emergency Operations Plan, the Food Justice Community Action Plan, and also our office's Community Outreach and Engagement Strategic Plan. So we invite you to learn in this presentation or this short overview to learn about the regional EOP engagement work that apply and how it applies to you and your community and how you can inform this update based on your expertise, your background, and your experience. So just to clarify, you'll be learning about the Emergency Operations Plan, hopefully in the future and in this overview, but we also have an opportunity for you to provide feedback on the Community Outreach and Strategic Engagement Plan that I will be sharing information with you all via email in the near future. Thank you. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Mila. So just a quick overview of the plan itself. It is a regional framework for how we coordinate regional disasters. These are events that would impact multiple jurisdictions, and it's a partnership between county departments, the cities within the county, special districts, and other key external partners and working groups. The plan was last updated in 2022 by the Board of Supervisors, and our office is responsible for coordinating the update every 4 years. It includes a basic plan, which describes that overarching structure of how we are organized within the region during a disaster. And it also includes 16 functional annexes, which describe specific roles and responsibilities of various response agencies and organizations. So why your feedback matters, as you know, emergencies do affect everyone, but not always equally. And so we're really hoping to get your insights to help shape the priorities of this plan, to look at any potential gaps, and overall, beyond the plan itself, continue to strengthen our coordination and collaboration with the access and with various working groups. Your role as a participant will focus on looking at your lived experiences, your experience with previous disasters, looking at specific sections of the plan to review and provide feedback, and looking again at any unmet needs or opportunities for improvement. Specifically, how you can participate, there'll be many methods. One will be through our Engage San Diego County website. We will have the emergency operations plan documents uploaded there. We will specifically outline the specific sections we are looking for feedback. But of course, you're welcome to review the entire plan. We will also be sending out a survey with additional questions to facilitate discussion. And if needed, we can come back to this work group to facilitate discussion or comments on specific topics of interest. Our timeline. So we kicked off this plan update with our county departments in April of this year, and the public comment period begins in September 1st through October 31st. We'll have the EOP or Emergency Operations Plan uploaded on our website September 1st, and then a week prior we'll send out the survey to answer those specific questions. Following the public comment period, we will host some various public workshops to sort of go through the feedback that we received and show how it could shape the plan. I would also request that if we could come back to this committee and share that feedback that we received from you and discuss how it could shape the plan update. And then in March, will be a final draft comment period where you'll have another opportunity to review how the input was integrated into the plan. And again, upon request, we can come back to this committee to share how that feedback was incorporated and gather final feedback before the plan goes to the Board of Supervisors in September of 2026 for final adoption. So looking at next steps here, and I apologize for going over the 2 minutes. Again, our initial public comment period is coming up here September 1st through October 31st. And the plan will be published on our Engage page. We'll send out a link to this committee with that information, and then we'll notify you also when the survey is coming out to answer those specific questions. I'll pause there if there's any additional feedback, and we look forward to collaborating with you on this effort.
Nick, I'm aware that you're not available for the September meeting, but I'm thinking that it may be an opportunity for the October meeting to come in and then to hear any additional input in person, if that works for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll work out very well during the public comment period, so we can come in person and facilitate any additional feedback and go through the specific sections of the plan, if that does help.
Nick, I appreciate you being here. Because this is under a non-agenda comment, unfortunately, the board can't at this point give you any feedback, but we're happy to have you as a partner and somebody who's spent your life writing op plans. I don't envy you, so good luck with that.
Oh, thank you.
Carolyn, this is just about accessibility. I'm just asking you to please use a phone number, not just say like you did just say, people can email them. That's
Okay. Yeah, I'll place my contact, Mila and I, in the chat if that works.
That's perfect.
Okay.
We look forward to having you guys come back and report on it. Thank you for that.
And then I do see that John with Lived Experience Advisors would like to participate in public comment.
You're on.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Hi, everyone. John Brady with Lived Experience Advisors. I wanted to bring a couple of things to your attention that we became aware of recently. One is for people with disabilities that are in permanent supportive or affordable housing that have elevators. We seem to have no plan or process at these facilities for what happens when the elevators are down, and they can be down multiple days, if not more, and how we are going to accommodate people with mobility devices. And the second thing related to mobility devices is well, this is not a direct consequence, but we recently lost a member a good friend of mine from the choir who had been in an accident and lost the ability to walk and was in a very complex motorized transport device. It was great when it worked, but most recently, over the last couple of months, it had broken down twice. And the surprising thing is, we do not have a plan for how that device can be picked up, transported to the repair, and or a alternative device being provided during the period of time that it is not available to while it's under repair. I have witnessed and myself driving around abandoned electric carts that similar to his. I would imagine that they face the same problem, and I would encourage the county to look into that. I also wanted to point out it's come to our attention that Sunbreak Ranch, which is an effort to create what we refer to as internment camps for homeless people here locally, is now pitching it as a solution that could be rolled out nationwide. There is a flyer that I put in the chat that lists various county agencies, including behavioral health, seemingly indicating that behavioral health and yeah, the housing division and other parts of the county agencies you'll see the brands there. I know that we had reached out before and made people aware of this. I spoke with someone at the Housing Commission. They have also asked that their logos be removed prior to this, and now they're sending a formal cease and desist. And I felt like the county should probably match that. And then a final note, we are hosting World Homeless Day on October the 10th. It is a day of service for the folks that are on our streets, as well as a day of remembrance for I believe the final count is somewhere around 550 I don't have the final numbers yet that we lost last year. We are providing, we've got medical services, dental services, acupuncture, therapists. Hopefully, we're bringing on board manicurists, pedicurists, hairstylists, and of course, service providers that want to be present. If you or someone within your organization or agency would like to participate this year, it will be Friday, October the 10th. The services will start around 1 p.m. And then the ceremony recognizing the lives lost with nearly 4,000 luminaries on the lawn of the county admin building will begin around 6:30. So I hope that you can make it, and we will share the flyer with the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Do we have anybody else? All right, we are going to go on to agenda item number 5, our Livewell School Summit.
So we have not heard results yet from the application for the Connection Hub for a booth, and nor for the the panel session. But I did want to share at your desk, you'll see these were handouts that were available at the last Live Well Advance and School Summit. So there was a colored Committee for Persons with Disabilities description, and then as well a sort of a resource list that has the access call, the AIS, the Aging and Independent Services Call Center, as well as the Access and Crisis Line, and then 211 information. we wanted to have a brief list of resources in the event folks that came by the Connection Hub booth, the Committee for Persons with Disabilities booth, to be able to take some information back with them. In the meantime, while we were waiting for the Live Well Advanced Committee to make their determinations, I wanted to have the committee members to start thinking about what other types of resources might be good for handouts. So just wanted to share that. That's all we have on that topic.
My 988 as well.
I'll make a note.
Is that
How 988?
No,
988?
there's 980.
Okay.
Michelle.
I would also perhaps, even though it might be a duplication, I think that's fine, have some information about the Blue Envelope program. And just anything that we think might be helpful, for persons with disabilities.
I like that a lot. We could add Take Me Home program as well, and I'll think of some other resources.
Yeah, the blue envelope is going to be there,
But we can put it on our table.
yeah. Yeah, that was like.
Is that, Jessica, is that the plan for our table to have the sheriff's office with the blue envelope sitting at our table?
I didn't go deep into anything. I just kept it very similar to how you guys had filled out the form last year, leaving it open for us to discuss specifics together.
Okay, so we're allowed to do that, even though we didn't list it maybe on the.
Yeah, it wasn't listed last year and we worked hand in hand with them, so I
Yeah.
imagine there's some flexibility. I did say we may need some other things, that we
Yeah.
put in an accommodation possibility in there. Just trying to leave it open in general.
Yeah, good, thank you.
They would not be the ones at our table. We would be, I was there.
Michelle, I'm not sure if this is what you were saying, but this is what I was imagining when you're speaking, is just expanding this list a little bit more with some other resources that we can then.
Exactly, and we would still be the ones at our table, available with the trivia questions, whatever we decided to do. But that we would still be the ones taking ownership of that, an agency of our table, but we would share in giving out other resources.
Now, last year, the sheriff did share the booth. So we had sheriff's representatives, and I know Lieutenant Cole is online. I don't want to put you on spot, Lieutenant Cole, but because we haven't confirmed well, we haven't confirmed that we have a booth yet. So, but last year we did share with the sheriff's department.
So did that during the fall experience that was at the county building, with the ethics fair. The ethics fair and the.
Yes,
it was
Todd,
also-
I do remember sharing the booth with you all. Further information, if we can attend the next one, can you email me that information? The blue envelope is not under the ADA, it's under a different area within the sheriff's department, and I can go ahead and do that same connection that we did last year.
That sounds fine. We want to make sure that the committee, that the booth is approved for the committee, but I'll certainly reach out and we can coordinate that.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take Me Home with Blue Envelope in another department, or where is Take Me Home?
Lieutenant Cole, I don't know if you heard that. There was a question about where the Take Me Home program resides within the sheriff's department.
That is on our law enforcement side also. Let me see here. I can look it up for you. What information would you like for them, Todd?
I was just suggesting, this is Jessica Kramer, hi, I was just suggesting that when we do blue envelope, information, that we also do take them home.
Oh, no, yes, that shouldn't be a problem at all. Just include both of those on the email, and then we can go ahead and make the connections.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Quick note right here. This personal disaster plan you received earlier, I think we can get that out. I'm sure it's elsewhere too as well, but that's.
I have several of those that are planned to be distributed at the booth, as well as the blue envelope materials that were provided to us.
About, something about, Braille, add-on.
But that may be something, yeah, Michelle.
It's on. Okay.
Oh, I keep putting it off.
No,
Okay. I actually have heard, you might want to check this, that the sheriff's department may have their own booth, their own table, or whatever the proper verbiage. So just an awareness that it might not necessarily be sheriff's department.
We'll coordinate that and we'll confirm it.
If you don't mind, I'll just take this glorious opportunity to ask Lieutenant Cole another question related to our work, if that's okay. Lieutenant Cole?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. We recently had a great presentation from the Blue Envelope, program. And one of the things that's being shared in the presentations is about Blue Envelope wearables, qualifying for hate crime. And I was, I don't know if our committee has time to address that directly, but I would really love to speak with somebody about that because as you know, I work with some law enforcement agencies and I would just like to offer some feedback that I've gotten from other agencies about how that training could be improved with language like could possibly and just kind of broadening a little bit because it's a tough, it's a tough measure to reach right now with the way things are. So I don't want people to get the wrong impression.
We'll have to stay on this particular topic with the Live Well School Summit, but certainly we can look at agendaing the topic that you have.
And if I made any changes,
that would be good
that's
for
where it would show in update.
Yeah, great opportunity for you. Yeah. We're gonna move on to agenda item number 6. Thank you, Lieutenant Cole, for being here. I appreciate you. Number 6, effective meetings.
So one of the things that has come up over the past several meetings is some different references to parliamentary procedure, to Robert's rules. So one of the things that I wanted to share with the committee are really some videos and periodically I'm thinking that we may have as part of the schedule as we move forward to highlight some different videos on effective meetings so that we, first off, let me step back and say that this committee has evolved to be a very impressive committee and the meetings that we have have been very productive. So I wanted to say that this would be in an effort to continue to build build upon where we are. So I wanted to share this first video that really is speaking to the topic of point of order. So I'll let me cue that up for you. Okay. And I want to make sure that I shared it with sound. Yes, okay, good.
Important tool that a lot of people don't use properly in meetings, and that's how to make a point of order. So we're going to talk to Lorenzo about when and how to make a proper point of order. So hi, Lorenzo, how you doing?
Good evening. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here too. So let's talk a little bit about point of order, because I think that sometimes, we've all heard about point of order, but sometimes people don't know how or when to make it. So first of all, what is a point of order?
Every member has the obligation of making sure that all the rules are followed.
Yes.
If a member believes that some rule is violated, he has the obligation of speaking up and making the motion by yelling, "Point of order," and putting a stop to this violation.
And I like the word obligation, obligation. And this isn't about telling anybody that they're wrong. It's the obligation that the rules are being properly followed. That fundamentally feels different for me. And so I'm glad you're bringing that up. So now, if I'm in a meeting and I see that maybe something's going wrong, or we're debating a motion that we're not, the wrong motion, I stand up, I say point of order, and then how should the chair respond?
Very good. As soon as you yell out, "Point of order," interrupting everyone and not expecting a second and not allowing debate or amending, the chair has the obligation of stopping everything and turning to you and asking you, "Please state your point." Then you get a chance to explain what you believe is violated, and he gets the chance to tell you your point is well taken and then correct it, or your point is not well taken and moves on, ignoring your statement.
Yeah, and I want to say that when you're saying the point of order, you're not saying, it's not a personal attack that you're making on the chair. This is not about you're wrong. It's that something in the process isn't being followed. So I think that the energy in which you're using point of order is so important, because in meetings, and I don't know when I'm working with customers, and I'm sure that when you're working with your clients, it's that sense of the chair is actually on the same team as you. So, when you're calling a point of order, it can be intimidating. So again, remember, it's not to make a personal attack, it's just to make sure that the process is being followed, right?
Exactly. It's even more than that. The chair should welcome anyone correcting what's going on, because after all, you are all there to protect the rights of the members and to make sure that the proper transaction of business occurs, and the chair should be very gracious and accept corrections so we can move on.
Ooh, and I like these words that you're using are giving me the chills, Lorenzo. It's that sense of they should welcome this type of interaction, that it's okay, that it's about the process. And then I really like that word, and I'm going to bring it up again, that you said that the member has the obligation to make sure that the process is being followed. So, Lorenzo, thank you for shedding some light on what I think can sometimes be a controversial motion to make in the middle of a meeting, and that's when a member calls point of order. So thanks so much, Lorenzo, and I hope we'll talk.
Okay. So wanted to share that. Periodically, we'll share some different other topics. At your desk, you do have you probably have, this is probably a duplicate for some, but I wanted to make sure that everyone got a Robert's Rules cheat sheet, and it actually goes through some of the highlights of what many meetings how many meetings might use Robert's Rules of Order. So wanted to share that, and we'll continue to share more as we move forward. There's a question, Madam Chair.
Is it on?
Yes.
I don't know how. I just wanted to point out that, which I'm sorry they kind of left it at that the times that the chairman may ignore it and continue on and decide to think that that's not a point of order or a valid one. And any member of the organization has the right to challenge or overrule the chair's opinion. So I just want to, I know that was a specific topic, but I think people need to know that there's a follow-up to that. It isn't just in the authority of the chair.
And then I think, was it Jessica? Yes.
Yeah. point out that there is a certain procedure for point of order that is different for the chair than members. So personally, I'm disappointed to see one for members and not the chair, since I was the target of emails that went out to the entire committee behind my back, written by the chair about point of order, and a member, me, not responding to duly noted point of orders, and chairs have a special obligation, so maybe next time we can have one on the chair's obligation, point of order, and sending emails out against a member. It's not necessary, you sent it to everybody. And
So we will have, to your request, we'll have a variety of different videos that will be on different meetings. We'll have different different topics.
Not okay with it, and this came up today about it in the morning. You can see that I'm upset, but I was willing to graciously move forward with that atrociously unethical now. But since this was brought up today, and I was the target of that email, now it's been brought up. Forward. My concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what other video?
No, that's it. There are several that will be, we won't spend, we don't have enough time for a series of videos today, but we'll have videos periodically.
You want us to wait for you to come? Is this a breakout time? So you go all the time you need.
I just need a break to compose myself, but if you guys can move on issues other than housing and public safety while I'm stepping out.
Yeah, we're strategic focus stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, agenda item number 7. This is our strategic focus area and our breakout session.
So what we have on your desk, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen, are questions for consideration. So we've got 4 focus areas, and each page is a different focus area. One is housing accessibility. The next page is transportation accessibility, behavioral health and crisis stabilization accessibility, and the last is emergency and public safety accessibility. So for each of these 4 focus areas, we wanted to have you think about individually, and then for you to break out and work with 1 or 2 other people in a breakout, and then to come back together and then to share some perspectives of what you had in your breakout. So the first would be to do, let's see, the request was to not have housing, and let's see, so I think housing and behavioral health. Okay, so then if we did transportation, so the first question is for you individually, and I'm going to give you a sticky note to write down your vision of what success looks like for this committee as of June 30th, 2026. So it would be once we get to June 30th, 2026, what would success feel like? What would it look like? And again, I'm going to give each of you a sticky note.
If it changes in the next couple of months, you're controlling yourself and all is good.
I tell you now, boy. Lord, boy. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, that's all right.
So again, this first step is for transportation accessibility. So what would it look like for success, for this committee to be successful? What achievement would you like to see by June 30th, 2026?
Want me to?
Sure.
Okay. So, for transportation accessibility, the activity that we crafted, I'll read this a little bit. The activity is to ensure that transportation programs are accessible and inclusive for individuals with disabilities, enabling them to fully participate in society and live independently. Our methodology, as a board, is to review transportation systems to ensure they accommodate a wide range of disabilities, including physical, cognitive, and sensory disabilities. Focus on assessing transportation infrastructure, ensuring they meet accessibility needs. For our strategic focus for 2025, based on transportation accessibility, is to advocate for improvements in public transportation infrastructure, such as accessible bus stops, transit stations, and vehicles, ensuring ease of access for all individuals regardless of ability. Right, so for that one, we all kind of have our own swim lanes of advocacy. So are you, is success inside of your swim lane? Is it on an ad hoc team? Talking about something that you already know may be relatable to somebody else on the board? Those things.
I'm gonna ask about, I did not understand that thinking about those, for this particular activity all in all, you know, was about swim lanes and ad hoc or special focus. I didn't, I'm not confident in that.
Okay, so, we're not wrong on any of the answers that you write down, but based on the strategic focus of transportation accessibility in the year.
Right. Oh, no, I'm fine with that. You added at the end about where you wanna put your focus.
Right, so it's you individually, and then this will kind of all come together, and then as we kind of go through each person's sticky, you can kind of see whose lane you may want to partner with.
Oh, okay.
Right, so there's all that I need. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll rewrite the other things, and then it's fine. No, make it more fun, it's fine. That's perfect. Oh my God. That's a good one. I was in. Yeah. So. It's not all involved. Yeah.
No, you get A's,
Can I only have one sticky?
You know what? Because you have asked for more stickies.
only the.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't choose.
Is pink for transportation?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Well, there are two pinks. There's a hot pink for health.
Oh, what's this one, a light pink,
That's
medium pink?
more of a mauve.
So gonna say mauve.
It's the color of my first. Oh, this is not good. No, it's the
You've
color
already
of my
started-
first
you've already
decoration at home. At my first home. Yeah. Rose. Okay, so that's gonna be for the transportation. We're now gonna have you do the same thing for housing. So I'm gonna give you a different sticky, and I'm gonna take those stickies. But I'm gonna give you a different sticky for housing, and we want you to write your vision of what success would look like for this committee as of June 30th. As it relates to housing accessibility. So what would be some achievements that you would hope this committee would have as it relates to housing? Thank you.
Please pick up your phone. Relax.
So for, the folks that, I'll do the same thing for housing that I just did for transportation, so that may help you. Housing accessibility for a strategic focus for 2025. The activity is to ensure that housing programs are accessible and inclusive for individuals with disabilities, enabling them to fully participate in society and live independently. Our methodology is to review transitional housing programs to ensure they accommodate a wide range of disabilities, including physical, cognitive, and sensory disabilities. Focus on assessing new housing projects, ensuring they meet accessibility standards. The strategic focus for 2025 is to advocate for disability-friendly designs, universal design and housing programs such as accessible units and appropriate modification accommodations. Good one.
Okay. Be there.
Wait, isn't that the one that Jessica wanted to wait? Okay. Okay.
Institutionalization.
Is the word with this. Anyway, I'll change the.
It's so bad. It's really good. I can
Okay.
Yeah.
The next focus area will be health. So I'm going to hand out health and pick up housing.
For behavioral health and crisis stabilization accessibility, the activities for the board is to improve access to behavioral health services for individuals with disabilities, including those with developmental, intellectual, and mental health disabilities, ensuring they can fully assess critical services during crisis. Methodology is work with the board, our board, to ensure that behavioral health programs and crisis stabilization services are fully accessible to individuals with disabilities. This includes ensuring modifications are made for communication, adaptive technologies, and trained staff capable of supporting individuals with various disabilities. So the strategic focus for 2025 is to focus on establishing clear policies and programs that enhance accessibility to behavioral health services, ensuring that services, programs, and activities are accessible for individuals with intellectual, developmental, and mental health disabilities. This includes providing appropriate support and necessary resources during crisis.
Okay, who came up with that?
When did we vote on the porch? With the language that you just read?
Yeah, I didn't remember which one.
Well, I guess my perspective has changed, but that language does not really match where I see the problem.
Then a great thing for you, that would be
I'm only, yeah, that's I've gotten more specific.
it would, like, and that's sort of the whole point of this exercise. Kind of pluralism. And when I was using the metaphor of a swim lane, it's so that each person can kind of find who wants to really talk sort of in the weeds about the same thing, and then you get the lane and there's go. Right? And these things are subject to tons of change, right? Because if we go down, if an ad hoc team or a task force or us as a whole or individuals, we go down the lane and then we go to the next board meeting and discover that board supervisors have solved the problem, then we can decide, individuals or as a whole, as an ad hoc, to decide, oh, you know what, this is so outdated, let's talk about something new. Because if we leave things on the agenda for so long, we're outdating ourselves.
No, but there's never gonna be a complete answer.
No. Right. I'm sorry, I should have clarified. When we leave one specific thing on the agenda, it needs to continuously grow and evolve, right? So if somebody has already provided a recommendation of something that they've had on the agenda, it doesn't mean that it coming off removes the discussion. It just means to refocus. So you're moving a little bit left or right of what you've already looked at.
Because there was additional information.
Yeah. So the goal is to get something off the agenda, to get it back on the agenda, looking at it differently. Right, because we can't solve the problems. We can provide the recommendations to the board of supervisors who have the resources to solve the problems.
Correct.
Jessica, what's the initial for PERP teams?
Yeah, I put them.
I think it's a new, it's being right there, something.
EER,
So there's the PERT, ERT, psychiatric emergency response team, and the global crisis response.
and the difference between them?
One is law enforcement and one is law enforcement specific. They are deputies or.
That's the PERP team,
Yeah.
right?
And MCRT is contracted to provide some non-law enforcement
Right.
response.
So what is it, mobile what?
Crisis response team, MCRT.
Mobile crisis response.
And
I hate acronyms.
yeah, and neither of those teams have the ability to make or engage in a reasonable modification requests or interactive engage.
This one sucks.
What do you mean they don't have the ability?
Well, there's no ADA reasonable modification process with law enforcement or MCRT. There's no process. You call and say, I'd like to be a reasonable modification, and there's nobody knows. I don't find them to be able to get a situation, they're either able to show or they're not.
Okay, so the last focus area is emergency and public safety accessibility. I'll bring the red sticky notes and then pick up those that are there.
Okay, for the emergency and public safety accessibility, and the activity is for this board to advocate for inclusive emergency preparedness and safety measures, ensuring that people with access and fundamental needs are fully considered in emergency response plans, especially in the event of environmental crises such as pollution and natural disasters. Our methodology is to examine current emergency preparedness plans, timely because of the conversation we just had. emergency preparedness plans and identify improvements in accessibility for people with access and functional needs. The committee can recommend modifications to ensure that people with access and functional needs are included in evacuation, sheltering, and emergency response efforts. This includes accessible routes, accommodations, and support systems during emergencies. Work to ensure that emergency plans, including public safety initiatives such as fire safety and brush management efforts, specifically incorporate disability access and support. This includes ensuring evacuation routes, emergency services, and shelters are accessible to individuals with mobility, sensory, or cognitive disability.
Yeah.
When you're reading those, what are those called?
Strategic focus plan?
Yeah, in March 2025. The language is a split plan. So if I'm referring to the plan, that makes sense.
I would just put maybe number 4, right? And actually Todd's scoring it out right there. He's got it. So like if you don't know which one it's supposed to be, he's on it.
Color. Coordinate images. It's like we're coordinated. You just shut down, right? And then you get through.
Yes. In March.
I'll trust you though.
You were here, but you called in. Is that one of those things where I probably didn't hear or time or because, I've also gotten feedback from people that call in. Our meeting, the audio, and this is my experience. Like, it's hard when multiple people talk and it's hard when even if you're talking, then you go like this, it takes it away. But that's why not.
Oh, you can.
All right. What is your home?
I'm coming from work. So I wrote it down on the floor. I'm not sure if I have it on my phone.
Or so they will literally go to Google Maps, to see mileage.
No, that's where I live.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put my work at.
So it's gonna be different, right? That's where you're,
No, I left from work.
so this is your actual starting point. So enter home is traveling from home. So
Oh,
what's
no,
your,
that's all.
so put in your work address here.
Okay.
had mine on them.
All right, thank you all. That's so that's the first phase there. Now the second phase, I'm going to pick those up. The second phase is for teams to gather around the focus areas. So then I know that there are people who have multiple focus areas, and that's fine. Pick your highest priority first, and then those that share the focused area would come together and talk about what has been achieved thus far and what activities have yet to be done. And you're going to do that with your focus area. I'm going to bring the focus areas to you all, and you can we'll sort of spread out, if you will, so people can talk amongst yourselves. Yes. You're going to be able to see the sticky notes. You'll see the sticky notes when you are at that focus area.
That's like, I'm fine.
Okay, so when you are, which focus area do you are you focused? Which priority focus area?
So what I think the best idea is if you can maybe a strategic focus area that somebody wouldn't have thought of. Yeah. If just read through those real quick, so then maybe.
Would you like to read the stickies for me? You'll need to do it on at a mic, so I'll bring you the mic over.
Sorry, my feet are horribly in pain right now.
Anyone want a cookie?
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, did we get downgraded for spelling?
No.
For spelling.
You get downgraded for how many scratches you have on your.
And then you're gonna sign a date form?
So since I had. All right, transportation. Did you already write all this down?
No.
And then you're gonna get a.
No.
I was like. Okay, sticky number one. For PWD, I don't know what that means.
Person with disability.
Thank you so much.
I was thinking about something else, I'm so sorry. Okay, for transportation, for persons with disabilities who have cars, more parking, more mobile access for chairs in buildings and stadiums, concerts and events. I think that's a really good one. Okay, that's for transportation. Another transportation is no renewal of certification for permanently disabled.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Understanding of success of transit pilot. Understanding of success of paratransit pilot. Okay. I don't, but that's okay. Success is finding or providing accessible paratransit transportation to rural East County. Expand radius of paratransit services beyond 3/4 mile of existing MTS. So I'm gonna stop right there, but you guys already see a pattern? Yeah. Okay, so this was the whole point of doing this. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that if you wrote something down that isn't forming a pattern, you could go off and do your own thing and create your own ad hoc, or it could be another iterative round. This isn't the end all be all. This is just an idea, so we can kind of get some stuff accomplished. MTS access. On handwriting. MTS access. Transit 24/7. This is probably the same thing as the paratransit, I'm assuming. If I'm wrong, let me know.
No, it is, but that they don't do it 24 hours a day.
Right, so that's paratransit you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys see the pattern, we're all talking paratransit, okay.
To be honest, I wouldn't mind all transportation.
Sure, but if we narrow the focus, we're gonna get something done. And if you wanna open the aperture and get more done, kudos to you, but this at least gives us something to focus on instead of focusing on everything and not really getting some recommendations pushed forward to get some stuff in. Budget for disability support.
Can I just say something, because I think this is gonna be something I will speak to all my questions, so I just wanna explain very shortly. One thing that I've never seen in the budget line item on anything anywhere is disability supports, which is accommodation, clients, you know, the plan, the person. So when I'm saying budgeting for disability supports, that's what I'm.
Awesome. Effective something for North and South County.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, very specifically, it's right now, if you try to transfer on the access of paratransit between North County and South County, meaning MTS and North County Transit Association.
Right.
It took me 6.5 hours to go from Oceanside to Paradise Center.
Okay.
So, because they have like an hour cushion on each side, so they should be all considered one throughout the county. Even though they're two agencies, but they can work that part out and just be one seamless system.
So out of the 8 sticky notes for transportation, 7 are paratransit. Right, so that could narrow us into, then that doesn't leave out budgeting. Okay, at all.
I'm gonna pay for it, I know.
Yeah, right.
It's hand in hand.
So now we have 2 narrow focus for transport. Paratransit and how to get the money for it.
Yeah.
So for transportation, I'm hoping that we all see it that way, and then that would be our strategic focus moving forward. Doesn't mean that if you see something else inside of transportation, you can't work on that yourself, bring a recommendation back to us, and there you go. You can work on whatever you want. This just lends off as a whole. So I'm gonna move to housing. For housing, we have more accessible and affordable housing units. Greater numbers, okay. More accessible and affordable housing units in greater numbers. Partner with housing programs to ask consultants to educate on the need of persons with disabilities in housing, advocate for grant money for disabled housing.
No, we're the consultants.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, let me rephrase that then. Partner with housing programs.
As consultants.
Oh, there was extra words in there. I have TBI, so I'm very linear. It's exactly what it says. Partner with housing programs as consultants to educate on the need of persons with disabilities in housing and advocate for grant money for disability housing. Okay. Have more small or individual units for homeless groups. Law barrier existing houses. Don't feel like you have to tell me if you wrote this, but if you want to.
It's low barrier.
That was.
Low, okay, sorry, my bad. Have more small or individual units for homeless groups. Low seniors. Existing houses.
Maybe low barriers.
Low barriers.
I don't know.
There was a parentheses in there and it's really throwing me off.
An example is tiny house.
Oh, tiny houses, okay, yeah. Universal design becomes more of a baked in concept and not an afterthought. Emergencies planned for the elevator and not forgotten. Yeah. Grow the county's climate equity index map to include rural East County, so housing programs are no longer excluded to counties not on the map. Clarity on county's volunteer service dog registration for disabled landlords and administrators. Ensure every person with California qualified disability has a file with an ADA interactive plan, effective accommodations that have compliance audits and accountability. This includes every contracted org or agency budgeting equity for disability supports, accommodation, compliance, advocacy. There's currently no budget for disability. Okay, so here, different to transportation, there's no unified thing we all want to talk about, right?
Money.
Except for money. Except for budgeting. So that one, I'll come back to. Behavioral health. The programs aren't tunnel vision into limited disabilities, but address all people. Thank you for writing nice lovely. County investing in communal housing that includes full wrap services. Changing the mission and plan we voted on in March. One that we have right now is way too general and generic to be able to meet the specific barriers to accessibility. Oh, this person, whoever her handwriting is. Greater awareness. Okay, so sorry. Greater awareness. Or.
Are we on, what are we on?
Behavioral health.
I can read it because I wrote one stuff down.
Here it is.
And
I'm so sorry, I didn't want to call you out, I just.
greater awareness of problems and barriers for implementing services. I think we don't know what all the problems and
Okay, thank you.
barriers are.
He's got one more.
One teams in county for 24 hours, the mobile crisis response team.
Yeah, to have them 24/7.
Right,
24/7.
so the book teams and stuff that Justin was talking about, right? Okay,
But the ones without the police.
got it, okay.
Yeah.
No, I want to put it in where it sort of makes sense.
Mobile crisis response.
Education, prevention programs in mental health, behavioral health, substance use, unhoused, plus youth and elderly. Increase reach, expertise, and response time of mobile crisis response teams, psychiatric emergency response teams. Okay, so there's a little bit of a trend in this one.
I want to say one quick thing just for you guys.
Are you using your mic?
And anybody listening in the public, took me a while to be able to boldly say this because I was afraid it might be overreaching, but at this point I'm here and I've been using this language, I want to share it with you guys. Anybody who has a mental health condition or a behavioral health condition, the only exception is current illicit substance use without any other condition. Everything besides that, when it comes to our behavioral health services, the person is automatically a person with a qualified disability under California law. So every single person in behavioral health services, except if there's one standout who's currently using illicit drugs and has no other disability or conditions, is a person with a disability. So when it comes to behavioral health services, it's different than other departments and services because this is an entirely disabled system we're talking about. So it shouldn't be anything where ideally this isn't, sometimes disability is considered the exception, but in this situation, disability is the rule.
Thanks for that. We're gonna go on to emergency preparedness. Plan, too heavy on emergency, not enough on public safety, budget for disability supports. Ensure that the County of San Diego has a specific emergency evac plan for those in rural East County, for those in mobility issues specific to the 67 corridor. If you guys don't know, in rural East County, the 67 corridor is the only ingress and egress for emergencies, and that includes horses. We have alpacas, all different kinds of animals. And the one lane up Slaughterhouse Canyon, that's the ingress and egress for not just us trying to get away from wildfires, but also emergency services trying to get in. So that's why I wrote it that way. Focus on plans that are proactive and not reactive after emergency. Expand actual outreach to I'm gonna hand this to Tom.
Population, expand actual outreach. Door to door. Oh, that's an example, door to door contact.
That's what it was. Okay. I remember that comment in when the AOC came. Yeah. Special disability task force for persons with disabilities only when there is a disaster or major crisis. Successful plan for disabilities for evacuation. Okay, so so you can kind of see the theme emerging in this one, right? Special disability task force. Okay, so from there, everybody now, you kind of know what each person thinks is important. So that should be able to help you more figure out which area of focus that you want to work on. Again, you can work on every single one. So if you pick one, it doesn't mean one is less or more important. It just means that for the next, 2 meetings, that this is going to be a focus, right? If you come back, or are we gonna talk about the recommendation? Not yet.
Well, today we might have time for the next step,
Okay. So, if you want to pair up with somebody who is in alignment with what you want to listen at, do that now.
Who would like housing?
So how would we even know who wrote what?
It won't matter,
But how can we pair up with someone when we don't know?
because I'm gonna ask, who would like housing? And then you raise your hand, and then I'm gonna bring you the housing.
Emergency preparedness.
I just want to say that this is like continuing to feed into what I think is like the non-democratic way things have been moving with this committee. Like, we are so small that I personally want to be involved in everything. I don't want to choose one and then lose out on another. And I really think we're too small to divide on issues. And then when somebody does pick an issue, it's not communicated to the entire board, it's communicated to the chair or whoever's intimately involved in that. For instance, the LiveWell presentation on the panel, I know I could not get included in that. Like, I don't want that for this committee. I think we're too small to not have everybody have an opportunity to be involved with everything.
I actually like to just offer my perspective on that, is that we can actually accomplish more if we're able to break into groups of who's going to work on what and reconvene to share that information and then be able to move it forward. Like for the LiveWell example, how would we all have on that. I'm just not.
We have been on it longer, and that's how we've always done. And I feel like there's this attitude about how we weren't effective before. We were effective. We've done amazing things, you know, so, but.
I just was gonna suggest, make a suggestion, that maybe, since you wanna do this for 2 meetings, that we all do one topic, maybe 2 topics of a meeting, since you wanted to do it in 2 meetings and just break that time in. But have everybody participating in transportation and housing, as an example, and the next month doing the other 2. But that way, we're all being able to give that feedback and we get to bounce off of each other.
We all come from a different perspective.
The only reason why, this way appeared like a way to go down for the moment, is so that, those who may not have the passion inside of housing, maybe they don't have passion for mental health, doesn't mean that they're right or wrong, but maybe they're more in line with emergency preparedness and they'd really like to deal with that instead of dealing with something that maybe is sort of in your wheelhouse. So if you want to work on it with every single person, then work on it with every single person. If you want to ad hoc, because something in emergency preparedness, maybe somebody wants to do it with somebody else, that could be a probability as well. Thoughts?
I just feel like we each bring something different, and that's what makes us awesome. And I think if you start taking a couple people aside to handle something, you're missing the complexity of everybody here has a different disability and a different skill set. And this momentum towards separating into subgroups has been happening since we've had the new chair, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel good to me. I find myself confused and left out. And I don't want to continue in this direction. So I'm just making that very clear. If we do end up separating into small groups, I still think every person's feedback should be included. So if we do break into subcommittees rather than how it was in the last couple working groups where only the chair was included in emails, I would appreciate being included in everything and being given an opportunity to participate.
So let me say one thing.
Actually, Chair, let me, this is an exercise. Today is an exercise. This was, so the first step was to do something on your own. And then the second step was to break into teams to do something with individuals that you may not really work with closely. You may not sit next to them, but you have a common interest in this particular focus area. And then to reconvene as a team to actually talk about who's going to team up on those activities. And then to decide, okay, who wants to lead a particular effort? And so if that effort is to have an award for a community member who does something exciting for people with disabilities, then to actually have someone to lead that effort. But it would not be you're out on your own. You'd have a team of people that you'd be working with. Go right ahead, Michelle.
We could still, because if somebody wanting to take a particular action up. But I love the idea of us, because all of these are important, and we made, apparently, I don't remember the meeting, but we apparently made, maybe that was the one meeting I missed, that made an agreement that these are the 4 areas. I think we should all participate in each of these, because even if I don't think emergency is my wheelhouse, when you're saying something, I absolutely might be able to give you the specific example, from my life, like the whole thing that happened with COVID around that. Whereas I wouldn't necessarily on the natural pick that, but just like you might not pick transportation, but when I'm saying something that sparks someone else's idea, and I agree, Jessica, we all have different lived experience. Let's use it to its best universal pathway so that we're all sharing.
So logistically, just for everyone's awareness. We're now at 4:30, so we've got 30 minutes for today's meeting. And then, of course, the committee can decide the structure or how you'd like to proceed with the information that we have. I think it's been enlightening. I think there's some great, thank you all for your engagement on this because when you come up with an activity, you don't know how well it's gonna come out. But it looks like there's been some really thoughtful activities, some perspectives. So I think the committee, it may be a good time now for the committee to decide based on what we've heard so far. How does the committee want to proceed forward? Do you want to have in September's meeting, do you want to cover off a particular focus area? We don't have a speaker for September, so we can continue on and do that.
Well, you two,
Yes.
Yeah. I think that we can all stay together. I'll tell you my personal concern. I don't know that I'm volunteering at this point to have another meeting in between our meeting, about like an ad hoc. I'm in a very busy cycle and I can't commit to one more thing at this point. So I don't know how others feel about that. But if we don't have people that are gonna be willing to spend time between meetings on an ad hoc week around the focus area, I think it'd be good to know that if that is part of our decision, maybe it's a moot point at this point, but
I think it's actually a really good point, but you would almost, and forgive me if I'm not reading it right, but, you would almost spend the exact same amount of time as a whole, because you still have to get into that topic. Right, because the agenda is what the agenda is, so if we're having something very specific, we could refocus the agenda on that one topic. Or yeah. That would be a way to do it.
Paul has his hand up.
That was sort of trying to, because you bring up a very good point about not adding more time, because I don't have the time either.
I'm not sure on, the time frame that everybody got, but my observation was that they were all great ideas. Just explode. We look at here, but we know there's something else. Well, know what? But we own to something. And that's as a unit, right? Right? If I had a, say, from what I'm observing, well, we do it that way. And then we break up and do it that way. And all would be right. On that type.
Yeah, and that was sort of what the hope was, is that if you want to get into, when you would break out, and it could be even at the meeting, that's when you break out, we have conversations and what you do, and the vision was, when you came back together, you discussed what you found out or wanted to talk about, and then the feedback comes from, oh, hey, what did you think of this? Why don't you think of that? So that it can be a very powerful approach, when you all come back together. So, and again,
I'm a little bit lost here, just, having worked in legislation a lot in a nonpartisan capacity, it's really industry standard, I feel like, for individuals and small ad hoc committees to do this in-depth research and come back so we can all discuss it and everybody can give their input. And that way we can move forward. We do not want perfection to be the enemy of good, and we want to just really be able to get into the details the most efficiently that we can, is that we can have the most voices heard. So I'm a little bit, having done a lot of this in a professional capacity, that's how committees run.
It's just different when you have a small there are a lot of differences between small committees and the large committees, and we have a very small committee, and that's why in the past 2 years, we picked one strategic focus item. The year that we did all that amazing work with the sheriffs and district attorneys, nobody, well, Jeanette, were you here for the beginning of that when Summer Step became cooked?
Yeah.
So Michelle, Jeanette, and I are the only remaining people from that initial effort, that was our yearly strategic priority, and we accomplished great things. So while I agree with you, like I'm on the behavioral health advisory board, we have 20-something members, we absolutely have to divide up groups. But what's unique about our committee is that each person, one, we're small, and two, each person has a different disability and lived experience. And then we also have 2 vision impaired members. Sorry, Michelle, I speak to you.
You're fine.
But, you know, we have trouble accommodating the 2 vision impaired members, and when we start breaking up into subgroups, it makes it even more difficult because we don't have a good accommodation thing going for the 2 vision impaired members, and it leads to a lot of conflict, and it has for a while now. So I just really want it to be democratic, and every time we steer away from things where I find myself like unincluded and then frustrated, that's when I speak out and say, hey, like, we're complicating the accommodating with 2 essential members, and we break out more into these groups unless we want to keep a meeting to come up with a plan and make sure that it's, you know, that it stays throughout. That's a lot of where I'm coming from.
Well, and that's great feedback. And another way that we can accommodate that is to have the breakouts during meetings, right? Adjust the agenda where it could be the breakout session. Because that's how it's gonna have to work anyway, right? Because none of us are gonna go off on our own time, not paid, and then communicate with everybody, because we can't, because of Brown Act, right? So we can't have external conversations, because then we run the risk of violating that. So maybe what we can do is that, we can still have it as a full committee, and also ad hoc at those, issues by adjusting the agenda and having you know, quick down and dirty 20 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes space in the agenda to do this. Because again, the only reason why we're trying to gravitate in that way is because we're not, we can't violate that moment. And I can't see any other way around doing that and getting these things done.
Michelle has a question.
I think that same 20 minutes can be used to say, we are gonna talk about transportation for these 20 minutes.
Yep.
For all of us, not breaking it up. And just for the record, Sandy, I mean, there's many agencies that do have 2 people on a committee, and that is not breaking the Brown Act. It's when you have more than half. But that's neither here nor there. I love the idea of us doing it together. This is a super small committee. And I do not want, what Jessica said, you know, how we're gonna have that extra amount of time to talk about what went on in each of the groups. They're either gonna try to do it by email, or they're gonna give me more work to do by trying to listen to text messages. I would rather be there to hear in person what this person felt about it, or what that feedback is, rather than depending on someone else to summarize it, and I don't get the feeling of the other person. I would rather just experience it, and I don't see why it's different if we pick one topic and do it for the next 3, 4 meetings, or 2 topics, whatever, or break up next month into 4 topics. I think that we lose something, and it doesn't allow us to have that same kind of unification.
Let's all.
I'm gonna make a motion. Please. May I?
Sure, you can make a motion.
I move that we, at our September meeting, since we have nothing on the agenda right now due to time constraints, that we have all 4, that I think I heard myself just say, all 4 topics in our strategic focus areas discussed and come up with what we would have put on our white, our new at the next meeting.
I'll second that.
How 30.
Point of order.
Right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So we might break it up into something like this.
The motion is basically to do this next month. Right, that's, yeah.
And you abstain? All right, thank you very much.
Congratulations, thank you. Now, I did hear several people say that this is an extremely small committee. Your committee is getting ready to grow by 25%. We've got one of them you heard from earlier, and I'm going out of off the agenda because I would like Julie, if you're there, to introduce yourself to the committee as well. You weren't able to earlier.
Sure. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me in my
Yes.
office at work? Okay, looks like Star Wars or something here. Hi, everybody. My name's Julie Neward. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area. I moved here 6 years ago and went to USD for grad school. I am the adult sibling of a woman with intellectual and developmental disabilities who has very high support needs. I founded 2 nonprofits, one's for adult siblings because we become the future caregivers and are often not realized, and that's californiasibs.org. And unfortunately, and this might be sensitive, my sister's also a Me Too survivor. So I have founded the NatalieProject.org, and I'm producing a film, which I'm hoping to launch at USD. And I would love for us to work at the county level to bring about more education response to people because of that very, very, very devastating high rates. I am a governor reappointee to the California State Council on Developmental Disabilities. I'm finishing my 6th year with them and hoping to get reappointed as soon as Newsom finds time. But I'm eager to work at the county level, and it's been very delightful hearing everybody's comments today and learning the dynamics of the group, and I hope I can positively contribute when the time is right.
Thank you so much, Julie. And then Julie, your appointing district, who was your appointing district?
Jim Desmond. 4?
5.
5.
That's good.
Okay.
And then Brennan is District 2. So yes. So then Brennan was on the call earlier, and full disclosure, he had a 4 o'clock meeting that he had to pop off to, so that's why. But he did introduce himself earlier. So welcome, Julie, and we'll be watching the Board of Supervisors meeting to see the consent calendar and your approval, and then your appointment, and then we'll also be getting you more information. But thank you for dialing in for the call today. The next item is committee business and organizational goals. I recommend, in the sense of timing, that we table that and potentially have that as an appendix for the September meeting when we do the follow-up for the 4 strategic focus areas. Additionally, in September, we will have a detailed discussion about the Live Well Advance participation. So we fully expect to hear the approvals or the status of the applications for 2 things. 1, the Connection Hub, your participation in the Connection Hub, and then 2, your participation on a panel session. So those topics will be pretty meaty, given that the proposals are accepted. But we will have time, and we'll make time to continue to work on these focus areas. Yes.
You know what day it is?
I think it's the Thursday.
Yes.
I think it's a. You do?
Yeah, I think it is Thursday.
I'm
It is Wednesday? Okay, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the 22nd.
Okay, that's the fourth Wednesday.
We're gonna move on to agenda.
It's the third Wednesday.
That's the fourth.
Oh, yeah, it is.
No, it's not
Sorry,
again.
yeah, in the
Any
interest-
chance of the 21st.
In the interest of time, let's, go on to agenda item number 9 for new business. And did you have new business? Okay.
I remember you mentioning it would be a good time, but I don't know what it was about.
Anybody? Help us out, backfill? Oh, you guys.
Doesn't matter, I can do it next.
Okay.
Probably
Okay,
wake up
we
in the
go.
middle of the night, like.
Yeah, I can get them soon. Okay, okay. We are going to adjourn this meeting. If you'd like to stand by for the executive, recap, you're more than welcome. We just ask that you, if you're going to leave, please exit, because this is still administrative. And it just needs to get in and out, because we don't be on by 5. For law enforcement comments on the side. So, if you can keep your comments, outside, thank you for coming, everybody. You're all fantastic, you're all amazing. We'll get this all figured out. Thank you for coming. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, you can stop it.